It's Mosley Show. Happy Tuesday as we're ready to roll. We got a lot planned for you today. We've got a lot of college football to react to. I noticed last night, Scotty Swingler with me as always. Scotty, I mean, Mondays are reserved for like huge Cowboys reaction, usually Baylor reaction. Tuesday, I found myself today playing a little catch up because I make this so with our Doomsday podcast, and it's so Cowboys related, everything we do. Earlier today, I really got caught up on a lot of stuff from the NFL weekend and what happened in other games. And it's just interesting because you get so far wrapped up into the Cowboys, and you're like, wait a second, they're like, I'm looking at today because I used to have to do these for ESPN.com. Scotty, these power rankings. Everybody has a power ranking, right? We'll have rankings today. We do have the AP top 25 for college women's basketball that we'll get to later in the program. And Scotty, the good news is we're in it. We're in it. I mean, you got to be in it, right? You got to be. Now, again, it's more important to be in it and high in it later in the season, but it's fun to be in there to start. The Baylor men have taken a break from the top 25. Oh, my gosh. We talked about it yesterday. Scott deserves more of the benefit of the doubt than he gets. I swear it goes way back to the people doubting Scott, and you would have thought like winning a national title would have just blown all that away. But the minute he goes a year or two with kind of un-Scott-like teams, or 1 year where, last year was not good. Okay, let's not act like it was. They got in the tournament, they won a game. There's that, but Scott it's unfair. It's unfair to be as accomplished and to be as great as he is, and to not have more of the national respect. Grant McCaslin is a great friend of mine, and here's how good a friend Grant is. Scotty, if you wanted Grant on it, like if I sent him, I go, I'm really sorry to do this to you, but I've got to have you at 2:15 today. Grant would do it. He would find a way to do it. So he's a great friend and a good guy. But he hasn't done enough yet at Tech to just sort of be granted top 10 status at all times. Scott has. But I know Scott has a whole different team, and we don't know. Although, Scotty, and I don't want to go too far on this, but if Kansas had Tunde, and Kansas has another great 5-star freshman that they're building around this year and could be their best player. But I promise you, if they had Tunde instead of their guy, they would still be exactly where they are right now, right? They'd be at least ranked 19th. And the truth is, the presence of Tunde on this team, along with a nice supporting cast, should give Baylor a top 25 ranking. And unfortunately, that is not the case right now. Lots to get to today. Breaking news yesterday during our show. Now, we were way into Cowboys, and we'll get right back into it. And in fact, Scotty and I have some things to share with you moving forward that Jerry Jones said this very morning. And so we'll get into some of that and react to it. But yesterday, Scotty, and we do have Grayson Grundhoefer, the Baylor, the Sikkim 365. He's going to be stopping by. And, I used to have Grayson on, enjoyed it, really good information, really good insight, some good recruiting stuff. We'll see. For instance, Scotty, I noticed that, and I know you love recruiting as well, when this Penn State change was made, Baylor people started bringing up a certain name that's on Penn State. And I do this, we'll get Grayson's take on this, but I do remember there was a kid Baylor wanted, and I think he ended up choosing Penn State, or maybe Baylor. I have this vague memories, and his name is Max. And the Bears were after him at one point. He ends up at Penn State. And now, because of the change, I see Baylor people saying, hey, what does this mean? What is this? Could they get back into it with Max? And we'll look at that. Grayson will have good answers for that. And then Scotty, if you've got any recruiting stuff you want to get off the top of, get off your chest, this is a good time to do it because Grayson can dig in on that. But Grayson's good at injuries, and we can really kind of delve into this Baylor TCU thing, what it means, the way Baylor might approach it, what Baylor did over the bye, and then what they could do to help with this pass rush. Because, one of the things that, Scotty, you and I think have after games, we do give our visceral reactions and this and that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But like, rather than us just saying there are not enough sacks, this would be a good time to delve into, like, they actually have a decent pressure rate. Believe it or not, they're actually putting some pressure on the quarterback. Why are they not getting sacks? Why are they so out of control? What could they do to solve some of these things? And then again, some of these dime packages, the peso package. Scotty, there's really nothing in life you like more than talking about Dave Aranda, the peso, right? And talking about the Spanish word peso, pesos, like money in Spanish. Baylor has that peso packaging put together. Could this be the week? Could Carl come racing back? Could Carl Williams show up and help this team? I wouldn't bet on it. One thing I want to ask Grayson and Scotty is, like, why do all these other players, like, why do they play through stuff? And Bryson's out there with a rib injury, and then I'm reading Carl has to be at 100% before they're going to bring him back. Okay, really? Why? Why? None of these other players, his teammates are out there at far less than 100%. Why do I have to read that Carl Williams has to be like everything in his body has to be perfect before he could come out and help? Because, they could very much use some help in that secondary right now. And right now, I mean, honestly, their corners are just kind of like Thornton, Bush, Williford, Jenkins. They're giving it all they have, but it's not great. It's not great. And the good news is TCU's not great. You think the Cowboys secondary is bad? And it is. It is. Watch this TCU secondary. This is not your Gary Patterson secondary. They're not the Patterson of old TCU. I mean, they have somebody that's been with them for years, but I think he plays safety. I'm thinking about Bud Clark. Scotty, is Bud Clark still at TCU? Doesn't it feel like we've known about Bud Clark for years? I feel like I turned on a TCU game recently, and Bud Clark's still running around out there. We'll have to confirm that. I believe he is still a part of that TCU team, and so we'll get into that as we move forward here on the Mosley Show. So 2:00 for your big Baylor, and then yesterday, I've been meaning to get to this. We had a first NFL firing. I mean, we've gotten used now to college coaches just getting thrown overboard. 0-3, 0-4. All right, he's donezo. He's gone. I mean, now UCLA has won 2 games since then. I mean, since all these coaches started getting fired, like James Franklin was not one of those coaches. They were sitting pretty at top 5 in the country, and then they go lost to Oregon, lost to UCLA, lost to Northwestern, fired. And now James Franklin, I mean, that's where we are, Scotty. Now the guy at Tennessee who got fired at Tennessee, it will not be like Franklin. Franklin's an accomplished enough college coach that literally we're already to the point where it's like their fan base is like, give me Franklin. Give me James Franklin. I mean, I respect Dave Aranda, and I want to see Dave Aranda get this thing done. But the thing you would not want to do, Scotty, is put any kind of poll out there. If you were Sikkim 365 or Scotty, if you and I were capable of putting up a poll, I think you are. Scotty actually does have that ability. If we put up a poll right now, we're not going to do this. Let's not do this, Scotty. This would not help our cause right now. But like Aranda or James Franklin, it would be, I would be afraid that it would be about 80-20. it would be 80% James Franklin. And it's not so much about James Franklin being great. It's just like a large portion of this Baylor fan base is kind of about had it with Aranda. Although the Bears sit there 4-2. Bears have everything right out in front of them. Scotty, does that not seem like something you and I will be saying even when they're 4-4, though? Everything's out there. Everything in front of them.
No, it doesn't, because 4-4 would mean 2 more conference losses, which would take you out of this championship game. Currently,
that was more for effect. But yes. If
we're you asked me a question, Matt, and eventually you ask me enough questions, and I take one as not being rhetorical. By the way, let me know. I'm sure I could throw up a poll sometime. We won't throw up that one.
Yeah, let's stay away from that one. I do think that would be like it is amazing to think. You and I were talking about this off air earlier today. Like that James Franklin already, I mean, just bottoms out, just a horrible ending. $50 million to make you go away. I mean, don't you think poor old Jimbo's sitting there like, well, why nobody ever come after me? I was pretty good. I won a national title at Florida State. I had my moments. I mean, I beat the mighty Saban a couple of times. I took down Saban. I took down Alabama. Nobody really, from what I could tell, tried to ever come after Jimbo. He might have had like smaller school tie-ins. Scotty, I would say right now, I mean, you got to think Florida. You got to think Auburn. You got to think Nebraska. If Matt Rule goes to Penn State, I mean, like there are like 5 schools immediately you think of that would be okay. I'll sign up for James Franklin because it's. And I saw somebody that said something today. Scotty is like, by the way, Scotty, whether they're rhetorical or not, always get involved. I'm fine with that. I was just giving you a hard time. I mean, just you don't feel like you just got to eat your paparolos and just kind of paparolas or paparolas. I always said roll. How they spell it? They end it with an A. Paparolas. Anyway, Scotty had some
false. False.
They end it with
ROLLO.
Paparolos. Okay, well that's why I called it paparolos. Somewhere over the years, over the 30 years since I was hanging out at Paparolos, I got it in my head that maybe it was paparolas. What kinds you get, buddy, today from, I mean, do they get it over there pretty quickly? Because now I've had some really good success over the years with who are our buddies over at over on 13th or 12th Street? Oh, Shorty's.
Yeah,
with me.
Love Shorty's.
Shorty's advertised with me for years. We probably bring them back over. Salazar, their GM, big time friend of the show. He likes hockey. He's way into hockey. But what topping did you get, and how good was their delivery? Did Paparolos get it over there pretty quickly?
Yeah, so Paparolos doesn't deliver, but they work with DoorDash. So I DoorDash some Paparolos, and it's pretty affordable. I think if you spend over $10 at Paparolos, they waive the delivery fee. Nice. So that's fantastic. So I think I got a small 4-meat pizza. I got some pepperoni, Italian sausage, Canadian bacon, and bacon. And of course, the great thing about Paparolos is they give you a side of ranch and a side of jalapenos with the pizza. So use some of that as well. It was excellent. That is a pizza, Matt, interestingly. I like fresh out of the oven pizza. I like refrigerator day old cold pizza.
Yeah.
Paparolos is one of the few pizzas, and I don't know why this is. I don't know the science. It's one of the few pizzas. It comes to me delivery. It's warmer than lukewarm, but it is not particularly warm.
Yeah.
And I still think it really hits. It really was a nice lunch break.
Yeah,
today.
You need some of those like Neapolitan type, really thin crust. You really need to be on the scene because the time, to eat it immediately. Because by the time it gets to you, yeah, we're usually hungry enough where any pizza will do, but that'll get away from you a little bit. We ought to put it out to we ought to have some bidders on the official pizza. Who wants to become the official pizza? We'll just let them fight it. What's that thing called out there by the river? Rise.
Slow Rise.
Slow Rise.
Yeah, I was telling you, there's lots of great pizza now in Waco. Slow Rise,
Shorties, Paparolo's.
I think the best pizza
Yeah.
in town might be at Southern Roots.
Yeah.
Lucky Bucks has great pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll let somebody fight for the affections of the Mosley show, and then you could have one of those awesome logos like we have for Central National Bank, or like we have for Schmaltz, the official sandwich. Look at that. Oh, Scotty's so quick on the trigger. That Schmaltz makes me. Boy, Scotty, if I were you, and you've already had the pizza, so now you're full, but at some point this week, you'll stroll over across the street over Franklin. You're just basically across the street from the Alico building, and there you'll be at one of the greatest sandwich shops in America. And then you can order the Schmaltz, and you'll tell them, no olives, please. No olives, please. Please hold the olives. But man, that gets me excited. And you get that twice toasted bread. I like bread that's really that crispy bread. So anyway, that is good stuff. Okay, let's talk some Cowboys, because I promised we would be doing this. And Scotty, I want to start with this is Jerry got out there this morning on one of his own shows. Okay, he's got the show on the flagship station 105.3. All right, and you get to hear from Jerry on Tuesday mornings. And then others ran into Jerry at some official event today. So Jerry, you had two different places where Jerry could talk. And I got, Scotty, people out there, even on Pro Football Talk, said Jerry didn't talk after that game. So it's serious. Jerry didn't talk after the Carolina. Now, on the road games, there are times he doesn't talk. All right. So it's not that crazy. Now, it would be shocking after a road game if he didn't talk, or excuse me, after a home game. So the Commanders are coming to town. And Scotty, I don't know if you got to see. First of all, I don't know why you're playing two Monday Night Football games at the same time. Like it's like, can you have too much of a good thing? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. And so I got one game in a major. It's like, okay, what's happening over here with Buffalo? What's happening with Buffalo and Atlanta? They're over here. They just entered the fourth quarter. And then I got the second half starting with the Commanders. I mean, it's like, yes, we love that on our Sundays. We love having all those games going at noon and then the games at 3. We're trained for this. We're not trained for this on Mondays. This is not how, it's only been happening for 50 years now. Monday Night Football has only been around for 50 years. And lately it's like, hey, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll try to play a couple of these games at the same time. Why? You hired Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, and you're paying them a combined probably 25 million a year, those two broadcasters, to do your games. And you're going to have another broadcast with Chris Fowler, who's the college football guy. So anyway, I don't understand all that. But there they are. Scotty, this makes you mad at the Cowboys all over again, because they could be like a half step behind the Eagles and right there with the Commanders. Commanders find a way to lose that game at the end. Scotty, I'm sure you were monitoring this. There they are, late in the first half. Late in the game, late in the second half. And all they got to do is, it's 3rd and 1. Get one first down, the game's pretty much over. Then they have to use their timeouts. They're probably not going to be able to stop you. They're not going to get the ball back. The Bears are going to lose that game and fall to 2-3. Reigning, Jaden Daniels gets the ball. He never has it. He's going back there to hand off to Bill, the man they call Bill. I kind of like that guy. Which is he's got like a hyphenated name. I kind of like that running back for the Commanders. Jaden is going back there, and the ball is just bobbling around everywhere. Ball never gets into the hands of Bill. Bill fumbles. Bears are on it. Bears go down and win that game. Scotty, that's just, It's so ridiculous that the Cowboys were right there and could have been 3-2-1 with a victory over the Rico Dowdle-led Carolina Panthers, and they couldn't get it done. You have this division that honestly now looks pretty bad. I mean, the most exciting team of the division is probably the Giants. They're sitting there at 2-4. They got Scatterboo and Jackson Dart. They got it's the most fun team around. And then the rest of them, the Eagles all hate each other. Like the receivers hate the quarterback and the running back hate everybody else on the offense. They're sick of each other. Okay, so you got the defending champs who are in a bad way right now. You got the Commanders who lose to the Bears. I mean, Scotty, think about that. The Bears fans right now have to be like, well, we got this Ben Johnson. Caleb's playing okay. What's his name? Ran for 1 million yards. Who's number 4 for the Bears? DeAndre Swift. I mean, DeAndre Swift's running roughshod over everybody. Like, Bears fans have hope. Caleb played well last week. Didn't get them beat last night. Played well enough for them to win. They've got hope. They've got hope moving forward. The Cowboys have like the most efficient quarterback in the game right now, like in the NFL, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just like, well, all right, they'll get beat next week. Then they'll get beat again. Their defense can't stop anybody. They are pathetic. All right, let's hear from, though, Jerry Jones. Not to be outdone. And just remember, we got Grayson Grunhafer coming up at 2 o'clock. All right, to talk some Baylor with us as they get ready for TCU. This is Jerry Jones, and he was asked on 105.3 this morning about a potential trade using those Micah picks. Could you make a trade, Jerry?
Untouchable are the Green Bay first-round picks they sent in terms of being able to get a player before the deadline?
Well, you're talking about the Parsons trade and the picks we got with those.
Yeah, like, are they untouchable to try to use to get a player at the deadline?
No, I've never. That's why I didn't understand your question, and I'm not criticizing the question. But there's nothing untouchable if we can improve our team and it makes sense for what we give up in the future. All of it's there. And you're right in one respect. We've got major resources that we wouldn't have had we not made that trade. A lot of people don't realize that Kenny Clark makes upward of $23, $24 million this year. We only pay 2 of that. And so that created quite a availability for us that we wouldn't have had. And so all of that is no question about it. And I promise you, yours truly or anybody that's associated with the Cowboys has got our eyes really open in ways that we can help this defense. And certainly I don't want to preclude anything on offense either. But in answer to your question, there's nothing untouchable in our resources to help our team. And there's no way that I'm at a point right now to where I would not do something because of where we are into the season, 6 games. I would go as early as I would if we were talking 3 games back.
Okay. He's talking about 3 games ago, whatever the record was at that point. There's 6 games in. Jerry's still willing to run in there and save the team with a trade. Nothing's untouchable. In fact, it almost, and I know Choppy's, RJ Choppy, he used to work with us at 103.3 back in the day. I've known him forever. So I wouldn't say he was set up to ask that question, but the way Jerry answered it was almost kind of like, oh, let's puff up. Let's let Jerry brag on his trades. Jerry, first of all, this all is some big weird charade. Oh, Kenny Clark's great. Kenny Clark not only is a great player, but he's brought in all this extra room because the Packers are having to pay for a lot of it. So look at all this extra financial room they have. Well, it didn't help them. Didn't help them in Panthers land, did it? Didn't help them stop Rico Dowdle. I mean, I'm just kind of just baffling. It's baffling to hear a man talk about almost like he enjoyed having old Rico, Uncle Rico, just stick it to him. I mean, like, hey, yeah, we knew that could happen. Oh, okay. Well, if you knew Rico Dowdle was capable of this, you probably shouldn't let him go. I mean, I mean, he by the way, Rico Dowdle was good for the Cowboys last year. And Javonte Williams has been good. Wasn't great the other day. Had 29 rushing yards. But again, this is some classic Jerry trying to act like something's going on with the trade. This is a look over here moment. Don't look at our record. Look at what I could do. Look at what I could go. You know what what would they do? I mean, they already acted like they're a great run defense now that Mike is gone. So think how embarrassing it would have to be if they packaged some picks, some of these great picks that they acquired to go get a pass rusher. The same thing they traded in the first place. It's just like a vicious cycle. Let's get all these picks, and then let's turn around and go find us a pass rusher. Oh, but we saved money. We didn't have to spend $47 million. And, I mean, okay. Is there a pass rusher that you could somehow save a bunch of money on and he could make a great impact? If that guy's out there, then great. Go get him. But, I mean, Trey Hendrickson or any of these people, Trey Hendrickson's been in his own contract dispute. He's not coming in here like, oh, yeah, we'd love to sign here, and then we can have another contract dispute. Then I'll have another sit out. I'll sit out this year. I mean, he's only signed through the rest of this season, and then I think he's going to be out there again looking for the next stop. All right, Scotty, let's do the this is Jerry defending Matt Eberflus and the decision to bring in Eberflus, which might be the undoing of poor Shoddy. I mean, Shoddy's trying to get the job, and Shoddy had zero hand in hiring his own defensive coordinator. So this is why, by the way, Jerry is so defensive, and he's going to bat for Matt Eberflus. Here's Jerry on Eberflus.
Is Eberflus still the guy to get this defense going in the right direction? And what do you say to the fans who want him replaced?
He's been in that. He's had tremendous experience. He's dealt with adversity with a long record, not only with us, but with his tenure at Chicago and Indianapolis. And he's had some great successes, had some very great successes, but he's had his tail kicked. That's who I want in the foxhole with me, because there's no such thing as having all the answers. And so when I jumped at it, when I saw we had a chance to get him, I still feel as strongly as I did the day we brought him in here. And these things that we're dealing with here are not one, two major things. There are a lot of little things that you can address and get right, and you can adjust the nuances of them. And for instance, the other day, we couldn't stop the run, yet we were within a possession. If we drive that ball at the end of the game, we got a good chance to win it. We were up all day for the most part. And so there's a lot of ways to win football games, and Flus is dealing with nuances there that we can adjust and change. And you do adjust, and you do change, and there will be that. What's interesting is that the way the game panned out was very, very on point with the way that our coaches planned for the game to pan out. We just thought we could get more stops. We thought we could physically do a better job with them, and they were able to scheme us a little bit. That to their credit, but we were in that game close enough. What I think I don't want to take too long on this answer, but Carolina is easy to overlook as a formidable matchup with us. They match up right good against where we need the work, and so they were a tough opponent for us the other day. We almost pulled it off.
Scotty, the Panthers were such a tough opponent, such a tough matchup, that for the first time since 2021, they've climbed back to 500. They've been one of the least tough matchups for everybody else in the league, but we are to believe that because of different personnel, tough matchup for the old Dallas Cowboys. I mean, never mind that. Just a few weeks ago, they just got crushed by a Patriots team. I believe that one was 42-6. I mean, they barely even scored in that game, but we're to believe. And so what this tells me is that this coaching staff is really good at managing Jerry. You got to hand it to Eberflus and Shoddy, because what you do when you lose a game like that and you give up 1 million yards rushing, you somehow get in Jerry's ear and you convince him, well, we saw that coming. We didn't like our personnel here. We weren't as heavy as we needed to be. And so we thought we could win it. And we thought the offense, and we did everything we thought we were going to do on offense. We just thought we'd get another stop or two. Thought we might get another stop or two in this game. But this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And again, this is the long history of why Jerry is, why, since you can never make a change at GM, this is insanity. This is just like happens over and over and over again. And there never can be a change. There can be little things, but think about how, Scotty, like ridiculous that is to say, well, we knew it was going to happen. Okay. We knew we were a bad matchup against the Panthers. But there were just some little nuances and some little things. There are no big things. They got blown off the ball for 4 quarters, and they gave up 239 or 240 yards from scrimmage to a guy who called them out.
Yep.
And that is supposed to, the reaction to that is not big things, just little. Scotty, I think to the fan base, the Cowboys fan base, those felt like big things.
Matt,
like giving up that much yardage and points and everything, that felt like a bigger than just little nuances. You got blown off the ball the entire game.
Matt, Jerry said something funny in the clip where he said, it's easy to overlook the Panthers. They're such a touch. Matt, I just looked it up because I was curious. What do you think is the Carolina Panthers record this decade since 2020? What is their record? Do you know?
I'd have to be like 20 games below 500. What are they?
It's a little more dramatic than that, just a little bit. You're really close. 27-63.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's that good.
That is the Carolina Panthers record since 2020. So, Jerry, forgive me as a Cowboys fan for thinking that a 27-63 team this decade should be an assumed win. Maybe it should be.
You should apologize. You should apologize for thinking they were gonna, go in there and really run over these Carolina Panthers. Bad matchup. In fact, I'm going to start just so I can be right. And even on some weeks, and with this defense, you'll be right more than not. I'm going to, from here on out, Scotty, I'm going to call every week a bad matchup. Every team. All right. Doesn't matter who's coming up. All right. This is the Commanders this week. Horrible matchup. The personnel, the running back, Jaden Daniels, offensive line, their D-line, some of what Dan Quinn's doing, horrible matchup. I want to get that on the record. All right. Now, and we got some Campus Confidential, and we can save some of it, Scotty. We can do some of it later in the 2 because we got Grayson coming up. But let's play real quick. This one really grabbed my attention, so I want us to give this a really close listen. Jerry seemingly is suggesting that the Cowboys have the ability to have a great pass rush.
About personnel a minute. Where we're our longest, where we're potentially our strongest is pass rush, and we've got the most capable pass rushers that we've had, and we've got the ability to really rotate our our players, which is very important in pass rush because that's probably you exert more energy there than any place else. And so there's ways that we can take our personnel. Speaking of him, there's ways we can take our personnel and address what happened to us Sunday.
After talking about how much better they were going to be against the run, okay, that's where the big issue was, right? We got rid of Micah. We're okay. We're good against the run now. Okay, so they had a horrible day against the run. So now Jerry's going to come back and go, best pass rush we've ever had. Oh, whoa. Okay. I mean, how do we measure pass rush? Oh, pressures, sacks. I mean, college football, we got stop rate. We have knockdowns. We got a lot of different ways to measure takeaways. Sometimes that'll reflect a good pass rush. So, takeaways aren't happening on a regular basis. Sacks don't seem to be happening on a regular basis. So, like I need more. I need more. Like Scotty, let's spend the rest of the show today digging for a stat that we can point to and go, okay, pressures compared to when they had Micah. Because if they're up, if these pressures are way up this year, then I'm fine. I'll go, hey, Jerry was on to something. I don't think we'll find it. That doesn't mean Scotty and I won't spend the rest of our day digging for that information here on the Mosley Show. All right, we got some Campus Confidential. We got a lot of stuff happening in college, and then we have major guest coming up, Baylor guest Grayson Grunhafer from Sikkim 365 will be joining us at 2 o'clock straight up. All that's coming up next on the Mosley Show.